I'm just. Oh, fuck. We're live.
Oh, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be in this weird, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness Dublin. And Kim yawns adorably. It's like a cat. You just want to pet her. This evening's scene will take place in the wending streets and side alleys of inner city Dublin. Once again, the night is the 15th, the bloody 15th, after it was that a single gem was liberated from the Dublin National History Museum. Our intrepid compatriots, well, Rorus more than likely stayed in the bar to have one or two drinks, and as he leaves the establishment, newly reinvigorated with liquid courage, he will see both Father Belmont and Jewel still standing in the centre of the large cobblestone square that is outside Carpe Infernum, which is unusual because he saw them leave about an hour ago, and yet they're still standing in the middle of the square.
By the way, Roris doesn't drink alcohol.
All right, he was drinking soda.
Yep, okay. Roris will walk up to Zach and Jewel and say, "Pardon me, Father. Jewel, is everything all right? I swear, you did not leave that long ago. Or you left about an hour ago, but you are still standing here?"
It has been an interesting evening, and looking around, Jewel will go and just brush the mark off the back of her hand now that it doesn't seem inhospitable to do so.
Rorus, you will get a distinct smell. I'm not going to make you roll for it. It smells almost like sulfur where you're standing.
Rose will take a couple of steps to the side, look around and say, "Do you smell that?"
You might have to be more specific.
It smells like brimstone.
That would probably be because we just finished having a conversation with Faust.
This Faust is who now?
Demon.
Oh. One of the fallen spirits, I see. You were conversing with him because it is a nice night?
There were questions that needed to be answered.
I see. Oh, I hope you got the answers you were seeking.
We did, yes.
If he was telling the truth.
You will find how often it is that those of unnaturally evil persuasion will tell you the truth, thinking you will not believe that it is the truth and not a lie.
Well, what he said was certainly controversial.
All of that being said, given the bargain we made, he has no benefit to not telling the truth.
This is true, yes.
Other than whatever happens when this spear is broken, if it breaks.
Where is everybody else? The unpleasant fellow with the mask. There were others with. Where did Samira go? Is it the fun Samira or the boring Samira? Which way did she go?
By the way, as you guys stand there, you'll notice the fact that you're no longer alone in the square. Over the on one end of the square, there is a large tree, possibly an elm or an oak, and you will see a very large, rotund figure standing under it. He's not necessarily looking at you; he's actually looking up into the tree.
That is interesting.
It's very dark, but he looks like he's wearing a very odd-looking hat of some kind.
Do you need any help, sir?
The figure stops, looking into the tree, and looks down, and he says, "Oh, hello there. Yes, I would like some help, please.
Also, walk over to you. Very well, my friend. How can we be of assistance to you?
As you walk up to him, you will see that it is, in fact, a large man. He must weigh at least, you would say, 500 pounds, but he's about 6'5" ish. You would give or take, and he is dressed in. It's a much more toned down version of what you would consider to be a traditional clown costume, including the gesturized hat with the bells at the end that jingle when he moves his head. He'll point up into the tree and he'll say, "If you don't mind, the kitten's up there, and I promised the twins that I'd take care of it, but it jumped out of my arms, you see, and it's gone up there, and I can't seem to get it down." As you look up, you will see a large, rather beautiful, actually. Its fur is impeccable, and it has almost luminous green eyes, but you'll see a large orange and white tabby cat.
I fear I'm not very good with animals, my friend. He's going to look to Zach and Jewel. Do you have any experience with fetching animals out of trees?
Not specifically, but I've been okay with animals in the past. At least the street dogs and cats that I used to look after seemed to like me.
I never had pets growing up. My mother claimed I was allergic. My father did not seek to disprove her of that notion.
If anyone would like to make me a perception or a charisma animal, they can.
I don't have animal ken.
I'm checking to see if I have animal ken.
It's still a skill, guys. We can roll it at that +1 diff.
I think I'm just going to roll it at +1 difficulty to see how this works.
Charisma animal ken?
Yeah, charisma animal ken.
Does Father Belmont have animal ken?
No, but he's got like charisma 4, so I'm gonna try. We'll just see how this goes.
No successes.
For the love of God, don't botch.
Alright, I guess I'll have Rose try. Does inspirational count?
Yes.
Oh.
And do you succeed?
If inspirational counts, then wait, what is that specialty? Inspiring. Yeah. If that counts, then I have 1 success.
I will let Roris roll his.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if because it would negate the 1 would negate the 10 before it could count as double. That's how we always ran it.
I ran it in Hong Kong though, that the 1s take away successes, but they don't take away successes here. Or they take away 1 success, not a whole 10.
How many successes do you have,
5.
Brett?
I got 2
Holy
10s.
crap. Okay. The cat will hiss contemptuously at Jewel like before it will very casually and very cat-likely hop down into Roros's arms.
Roros will lightly pet the cat and scratch behind the ears and say, "I guess I was better than I thought when it came to dealing with animals."
Oh, thank you very much, sir. I'm forever in your debt.
No, not at all. It is a simple thing. He will offer the clown to take the cat.
The clown will very delicately take the cat, who will basically hop up onto his shoulder, and he has such a wide shoulder that it will make itself comfortable.
Ross will reach up on his tippy toes and scratch the cat behind the ears and say, "Now you be a good cat and not climb trees anymore. It's very dangerous."
Thank you all very much. My name is Smiley. It's very nice to meet you all.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well, Smiley.
He will extend his huge hand to shake.
Ross will extend his hand and shake it back.
He has a very large hand, but he's very, very. The thing I'll point out is he's very gentle, and you can tell he's making great efforts to be gentle. He will then extend his hand to Father Belmont.
I'll take his hand.
It's very nice to meet you. My name is Smiley. You can almost tell like he's reading off a script, like when you have to meet people, you say this.
A pleasure to meet you, Smiley. I'm Father Belmont.
I'm Roro Sokazari.
And he will extend his hand to Jewel.
Jewel will take his hand.
Once again, he'll say it's very nice to meet you. His name is Smiley.
Jewel will shake his hand. It's very nice to meet you too, Smiley. My name is Jewel.
Oh, that's very nice. I see you came out of the club, Mr. Rorus. Did you have a good time?
It was quite interesting, to be sure. Not exactly my sort of thing. But there was somebody inside I needed to meet. The proprietor.
Oh, my boss, my boss, Mr. Nightshade, went in there to see Mr. Gravedigger. He's a nice man. He always gives me candy when I go to his office.
Gravedigger is certainly an interesting individual, yes.
For the record, for my dear Rorus, common knowledge, disparate alliance in the city, there is a senior Bata'a by the name of Nightshade who keeps a troop of genetically altered individuals who were technocracy rejects.
Rorus will nod his head and say, "I have heard of your boss Nightshade. He's a very, very generous person. Very caring individual." Rorus will pull out a card with his information on it and say, "If you should see him, please give this card to him. Tell him that I'm available at his convenience should he wish to talk."
I thank you, monsieur. It is a pleasure to meet you as well, says a voice from immediately behind you.
Rorus will turn around. I'm guessing he sees Nightshade.
Nightshade is standing there. He looks like a much more... his coat is red and it's got gold brochet on it. He's also wearing a top hat and he has a cane. He looks much more flamboyant than Gravedigger does. You like the kind of garb that a ringmaster would wear.
I will give this to you then, and he will extend the card to Nightshade.
Oh, bon. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Master Rorus. Your reputation precedes you.
Oh, it is truly deserved. I have done so much in such a short amount of time that I have become so great indeed. It's basically false modesty, which is something Tani. Well, false bravado, which is something that Tani are actually good at.
And you are Father Belmont of the Celestial Chorus, no?
Indeed, that is me.
He will hold out a hand to shake.
And Zach will take it.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Father.
The pleasure is all mine.
People simply call me Nightshade of the Bata'a.
He will incline his head. A pleasure.
He will extend his hand to Jewel.
She will take it.
He will lean. Oh, sorry, I'm just putting out. He won't shake her hand. He will lean and he will kiss her hand just above the second knuckle on her ring finger.
Well, that is... Don't clear her throat. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure, Mademoiselle is mine. He will say, I do hope that Smiley has not been bothering you, gentlemen and lady.
Oh, he was no bother. He just asked for some assistance with his animal who had wandered up into the street.
I see. Nightshade will extend his hand, and the cat will leap between Belmont and Jewel, and basically latch onto his sleeve before wrapping itself around his neck. And he will say, "Well then, it would seem as though I owe you a debt. If you had not recovered Sir Lancelot here, I am afraid there would be two very sad children when I return home."
Now that is something that simply could not be allowed, which was your man Smiley made it clear that there were twins that would be very disappointed. I cannot have twins disappointed. That's two faces that looked exactly the same that are sharing the same sad expression. Simply cannot happen in this world.
I'm quite inclined to agree, mon monsieur. But his face will go suddenly very serious. He's been kind of very smiling and light-faced. For the record, I will point out this character has an appearance spec of 4. His appearance spec is memorable in the sense you'll always remember his face. But his face will go very serious for a moment as he says, "I am led to understand from being summoned by Master Gravedigger that there was some unpleasantness involving a member of my craft. I was wondering if you could perhaps give me more detail. Mr. Gravedigger was excessively busy and only told me the bare necessaries, as it were."
It was quite a unusual circumstance, to be sure. He calls himself the Azure Sailor, but I heard him introduce himself to me as Maximilian once. So, it involved a orphan that I believe is destined for Mr. Belmont's particular organization. Padre Belmont, forgive me. She is very outspoken about her faith, to the point of being insolent to others. She also lacked the ability to control herself in the presence of people who could very likely stomp her out of existence. She had continued to go on and on about how we were all bad people that were going to hell because we would not accept Jesus, blah, 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 blah. I have nothing against the Christians. I have nothing against the Catholics. I did not know that they were two separate religions. You will have to excuse me for my ignorance there, Father Beaumont. She continued in these outrageous accusations that we were all damned and could not be saved, to the point where Mr. Maximilian looked to Gravedigger and said, "Surely you can take care of her for us." Gravedigger said, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "To get rid of her. Kill her." And that's when Gravedigger got creepy. I had been trying to speak to Mr. Belmont to ask the father, please, to take this child to the Archbishop, who is the leader of the traditions and the leader of her particular organization, to get this creature away from us so that she could be harnessed. I never had a chance to even say such things, which is what I was trying very hard to do before everybody made me stop being cheerful and start being morose. I do not like being morose. It's very unpleasant.
If this is indeed true, Father Belmont, he'll actually switch to speaking in French, because Belmont has a French accent, doesn't he?
A very thick French accent.
Yes, except unlike you, I affect it.
My French accent's very bad. I still have to work on it, but I've been slightly busy lately.
Give me a single.
Oh. I can't right now.
But he will turn and he will start speaking in French to her. Then to him. Then he will say, "If indeed that this is the case and offense has been caused, I must give you my 10,000 apologies."
It is not you who committed the crime. It was this Maximilian. You should not have to apologize for something that he has done. Do not hold it against the entirety of the entirety of the Bata. It is him who said those things, not you.
Mama Bridget teaches us that we must love each individual for the individual that they are. She also happens to be my patron, so I quite understand, and I am, once again, sorry for what has befallen you. So, there must be... He will contemplate, and he'll switch back to English at this point. He'll say, I must think of some way to repay you all for such kindness to Smiley here.
There's no need. What you do is what I aspire to do. To break the chains of ignorance that have been forced on these people by the deceivers. Therefore, your cause and mine are the same. Therefore, I am your ally.
Ah, you know of my work in that case.
There is many in Tiftani, let alone in the Alliance, that do not, especially in this area. Matter of fact, he's going to actually pull out his wallet, pull out 1,000 euros, and he's going to hand it to him.
He will look down at the money and he will bow deeply and he will say, I thank you, monsieur. It will be very useful when it comes to clothing and feeding the little ones.
I am sure it will. If you need any more, please do not hesitate to ask. I am quite wealthy, and I come from a very, very wealthy family.
He will say at that point, Miss Jewel and Father Belmont, allow me to explain, as I feel it is necessary. How to begin? Smiley and the others who I take care of, they were all experiments from the technocracy who were too badly damaged by their time there in order to function in any real way in society. So I take care of them. I make sure that they do not come to harm, and I give them what life that I can give them so that they are happy. You understand?
It is the most noble thing for you to do.
If I did not, then they would simply be left to die, wither away, or become some freak in a carnival freak show. He will contemplate for a moment and he will say, for your generosity, sir, you must at least come and see those who you would help, no?
Yes, I would find such a thing to be quite acceptable. Please, when is your next showing?
He will say, I can, we have daily showings at 6 o'clock in the evening and 2 on Saturdays.
Ah, very well. I will be at the next one on Tuesday. You said Tuesday you have a daily showing?
Yes. Well, no, he said they have a showing every day and 2 on Saturdays.
Oh. I will be at the 6 o'clock one on Tuesday. Please make sure to save me a ticket.
Of course.
I will, of course, pay for it when I get there.
Please do not worry about it. You have already been more than generous.
And I've got a BRB. Hold on.
No worries. Smiley is going to kind of walk up to Belmont and he's going to tap him on the shoulder. Tap, tap, tap.
Belmont will look at him.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Go right on ahead.
Well, my mom used to say that God loved all of us, and that no matter what, God loved us. Is that true?
Of course.
I'm curious. Sorry, he wouldn't say curious. I was wondering, then why did he let all the horrible things happen? I had
friends when I was in the bad place. And those friends didn't come out because of what the technos did to them. Why did God not do something about that? Hi, Kim. Welcome to the fields.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Zach?
I swear to God, I'm gonna come to Ireland!
Sorry, Brent. I just served Kim a gigantic plate of field sandwiches.
Oh, I heard it. I have my headset on. I just didn't have my mic on.
I wanted to have a good night. I wanted to eat my Chex Mix. I wanted to, like, wallow in... I fucking got this shit. Hold on. Let me go back to all of my Baptist Sunday school teaching here. Let's be real, I never paid attention in those. I learned from an early age that religion was not for me. But anyway, he will... God damn it, Evan. I can't stand you. He will look very solemnly at Smiley. I gotta turn my music off for this. This is not the right kind of song. And he will say, I will not tell you that it was all of a part of God's plan. That isn't something that is right. And unfortunately, it is something that should have never happened. The loss of a friend, the loss of those at the hands of those who are so cruel. Nothing about it is right. It just isn't. I will not tell you that it was a test of faith. I won't tell you any of that many others probably would.
By the way, Kim, I'm just going to give you some advice. Remember who you're talking to.
The fuck is that supposed to mean? I'm very tired. You have to explain.
No, okay. Smiley, it means you're talking to him in grand terms, and it's not necessarily something he can understand.
Okay. So he'll... Oh, God damn it. He'll stop. It's taking much more brain power than I have for this evening. He'll stop realizing this, and he will just say, unfortunately, bad things happen to those who do not deserve it. And that is what happened to your friends. But
I'm sorry, continue.
But if it is possible, then hold faith, because now they are free.
Did Kim die?
No, did y'all not hear the end of that?
I did.
No, I didn't.
Oh, God.
The last thing I heard was, but hold faith.
Yeah, but hold faith, for now they are free. Pretty much.
Does that mean that God loves Smiley?
He loves everyone, even those who believe that he doesn't, or who believe that he doesn't love them. He does.
Kim, Smiley is going to give you a hug.
haven't gotten one of these since
Completely without social cues, he will pick up Father Belmont. He won't crush him or anything, but he will hug him. So his feet are kind of dangling off the ground.
And Zach will hug him back.
You will hear Nightshade's voice cut through the darkness as he said, "Smiley, put him down, please." My apologies, Father. He does get he is very affectionate, and sometimes does not know his own strength.
It's fine, there's nothing to apologize for. I, in the end, was not killed. It was a very lovely hug. Thank you, Smiley.
Smiley will have to tell Miss Ikiro about the nice priest.
Is that another one of your friends?
She's the sister of a dragon, she is.
The sister of a dragon?
Allow me to explain. He is speaking about Madame Ikiro, who is the twin sister of the Ebon Dragon, or Lord Saisho, depending on which you choose to call him. He is the head of the Akashiana in the city, and he contemplates his next words. Very honorable gentleman.
Ah, I see.
Technically, he's not the most powerful member of the Akashiana in the city. There is an Akashic monk in the city that calls himself Shadows of the Nightingale, and he is very old and very powerful.
Yes, I believe I've heard of him. He takes on the guise of a blind monk who wanders this way and that, but he is, you're probably right, terrifyingly powerful.
Oh, I'm quite sure. Anyway, your friend should hold faith. He's gonna look at Smiley. You are very strong. You can shatter the chains that bind others. You should never hesitate to do so, because it was in that manner that you were rescued.
He will Nightshade. You'll see Smiley smile. You're not sure how much of that he really understood, but he seems to be happy. And Nightshade will, at this point, Nightshade will go over. He'll whisper something to him, and he'll snap his fingers, and you'll see Smiley fall through what appears to be a hole in the floor, or in this case, you can tell it's a portal that Nightshade has summoned under his feet, and he'll disappear from sight, like. Before he'll turn back and kind of rub his hands together, and he'll say, "You're quite correct, Master Horus. He has the strength of many men, and can survive a shotgun blast point blank to his chest. But unfortunately, the technocracy gave him the mind of a child, and no amount of mind magic seems to be able to give him anything greater."
It is true. However, that was not the strength I was referring to.
No,
He does have a sense of perseverance.
Oui, but then again, when you are told that your friends will die and you will not eat if you do not complete an obstacle course filled with many things to cause you pain, simply to test the level of your endurance, it tends to be something that you develop.
Yes, of course.
All of my children.
The deceivers, like the corrupted, they never cease to horrify me.
They are progress without compassion.
They should have learned from us a long time ago, but they did not want to hear our words.
No. I remember when the German tanks pushed over my homeland. They also valued progress without compassion.
and that led to the darkest elements I have ever seen in humanity.
It is my wish and is an unfortunate truth that such elements have not faded from this world.
Oui, oui, but these things happen.
He's going to look over at Beaumont, and he's going to look at Joe, and he's going to say, all that matters is what we do here today. We must be the force that will bring this world back to its true purpose.
That is a lovely sentiment.
It is the basis by which I live my life. Even if I must hide as a foppish rich boy. Like,
Father,
I would give all my money away.
Will you do me a service?
Of course.
There are several of my children who would, he contemplates his next words, they would not be able to attend an ordinary mass due to their unique circumstances. Would you consider perhaps saying one for them, briefly or intermittently, whenever it was you could spare the time?
Of course.
I think that they...
Of course.
I'm very pleased to hear it. It is hard for them. They see themselves and all they have of each other for company. As much as it pains me, people will never understand them. They will never be seen as anything other than freaks of nature. And it is heartbreaking that the only company they can have are themselves and little old me. So having someone who can give them some kind of comfort and make them think or make them hope that the higher powers will look kindly on them is invaluable.
Of course. I would be more than willing to do this.
Bon, I thank you very much. Well, I have been away for too long. I will have to deal with the Azure Sailor in the morning. Or tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow. Whenever is easy. But once again, I apologize, and I will happily apologize to the Archbishop himself should he require it. As I have seniority, and I don't know, that we should teach our youngsters better, maybe.
I wish you good luck in this. I suppose it is fortunate that, apart from the prince, I am the only Toftani in the city. However, I do feel a responsibility. Greedy puppy. I do feel a responsibility to other members of the Disparate Alliance. So if you should, like I said, if you should need my help, we are
Absolument.
brothers in the same cause. But we are also members of the same alliance.
Absolument. I will wish you a good evening in that case, Master Roras, and I will hope that you are blessed with good winds, and may Mama Bridget shine on you in her infinite mercy.
He'll smile and say, may Ahura Mazda keep you in the light of Hashem and protect you from the darkness of Angermanu.
He will turn.
He's actually going to hold up the and say, do all members of your people share the similar deities?
Kim, what were you saying? Sorry?
I was just gonna do a quick before you go kind of thing, but I'll wait until after Brett's done.
He will say, oh, like Father Belmont here, I only believe in one God, the Godhead, the Supreme Being, you may call him. The lower are greater spirits. They represent aspects of truths. However, they themselves are not gods. They are more akin to saints, perhaps.
That's just that the man made some mention of names that this Azure sailor, as he was talking, is talking about somebody by the name of Papa Legba, Baron Samedi, and Baron Cemetery. Are those commonly worshipped?
Oh shit! Did Grog actually mention Baron Cemetery?
Yes, he mentioned it to
Yes,
Gravedigger,
he did.
and Rorus heard him.
Balls.
So did Jewel.
Yeah,
So did like everybody in that scene.
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yes, okay. Because you're not meant to call on Baron Cemetery. No, that's like bad juju. Literally bad juju. As a matter of
Brett
fact.
knows this because Brett's played actual Samedi, but Rorus doesn't. So,
He will say, you'll see color drain out of his face ever so slightly as he says, two of those, yes. Papa Legba is the keeper of the crossroads and the guardian of the ways. And Baron Samadi is the lord of death, but also has his hand in fertility and rebirth. The last one, I will not say his name aloud. It is to invite bad spirits. And if this fool did, then he and I, we're going to be having a conversation, and it's not going to be a pleasant one.
Rorus will actually look upset, and he'll say, I hope I did not cause any distress to you by saying the name aloud. It would be as if they said the name of the ninth Jinn aloud, which does cause me great distress, and I'm very worried because he's apparently in the city. But I greatly apologize for saying the name, and he will actually bow to him.
He will take out a charm from around his neck that he's wearing, and you hear the rattle of bones as he does so. As he kind of moves the charm, you see that it's made of what looks to be knuckle bones or maybe vertebra, and he'll move it and he'll swish it to the left-hand side of you and to the right-hand side of you before he puts it back on, and he says, I have cleansed whatever evil spirits may have been summoned by the uttering of his name. It is fine now.
He'll
However, for one of my kind to blatantly and openly use his name, it invites bad spirits, bad juju.
Rorus will bow again and say, I thank you for your cleansing, my friend. May your Godhead and your Loa guide you upon your way.
Sorry, and what did Father Belmont want to say to him before he left?
He'll simply say, Mr. Nightshade, it is not all the fault of this Maximilian. I will not deny that Miss Tara had some part in all of this as well. She was being quite rude and on several occasions said we were, well, all various manner of demon worshipper, and she insulted many people in their faith.
Including Gravedigger, to his face.
Yes.
Oh, that's never a good idea. Still, Monsieur Belmont, it is different in the sense that he should not have made such comments. Life is sacred. All but know this. To casually suggest that life be snuffed out. I'm not going to do any. I'm not going to harm him in any real physical way. I'm merely going to teach him that he should know better.
I hope that his education proves to be swift and fruitful.
But thank you for your honesty. It does you credit, Father. Now then, if you would excuse me, as I said, I do not wish to be away from the little ones too long. Several of them cannot go to sleep unless I read them a bedtime story.
He'll nod his head. Peace be with you.
And also with you. You will turn, you'll hear the clicking of his cane for 1, 2, 3 steps, and then he's gone.
Correspondence is nice.
Correspondence is a hell of a drug.
Rorus is going to look to Joel and to Father Belmont and say, did I inadvertently get this individual in more trouble?
No, you did not. You made quite sure that he would be, and he will receive the proper justice for his crimes, for his transgressions as they were.
It makes me wonder how such an individual ever made it out of apprenticeship. I had to beat the living daylights out of my own master to become out of apprenticeship.
I had to experience death come out of mine.
Oh dear, that is never fun.
Above you, you'll hear a heavy clock chime. Probably the church of St. Mary's of the Divine Assumption, which is located not far from Temple Bar, toll out 3 bells.
I should probably be getting home. Nazir's probably worried about me. I usually don't stay up this late. May I give either of you, Father Belmont or Miss Jewel, a ride home?
If you don't mind.
Not at all. I have plenty of room.
Then I would most graciously accept your offer.
Father Belmont.
No, thank you. I believe I will walk.
Yeah, very well. Please have a good evening, and may your God bless you.
And yours as well.
So he's actually going to take Jewel to. Do you know what a McLaren 570S is?
Yes.
Metallic silver McLaren 570S. He's going to open her door for her and then get in, and basically is going to take it to as fast as he can go without seeing like he's trying too hard. Is going to drive her home that way.
Wow.
On that note, boys and girls, we shall complete our scene. Actually, no, we won't. My apologies. Something else I have to do. As Father Belmont stands in the square.
God damn it.
My. I see that this city is indeed rife with sin, Father.
God damn it. God damn you.
I think Kim is suitably creeped out.
Oh no, I know who this motherfucker is. So gotta wash down the bile in my throat. Give me a moment. Okay. Zach's gonna turn around and he's not gonna say anything. He's just gonna look at Mr. McBitchface.
You will see a man standing there in a red robe, flanked by 2 individuals in black robes.
Oh, I know this motherfucker. I know him.
I contemplate why it is that you cavort with sinners, invite them down, and even offer our divine Lord's redemption to the twisted, stunted refuse that were never part of his design.
They all are deserving that chance.
But for those who play God, who twist them in ways never intended by the Creator, surely they are damned by their simple breath and existence.
It seems that we shall agree to disagree. No one is ever truly damned. There is always
no disagreement. There is merely heresy, Father. I will remind you of that.
He will just smile. Yep.
It is good that I found you this evening. I have seen this Dublin now. I have smelt its corruption. Oh my, yes. It is rife. It is festering. So I have a task for you, Father.
And
Are
what
you
might
listening?
and what might this task be?
Let the church bells ring. Let them sing Hosanna. Let it be decried from the highest point so that even the lowliest might hear. Deus vult. God wills it. His first sorceress crusade is now declared.
Surely there must be some other way.
He will smile. The Templars are already on their way. Let them know. He will start to walk past you. It is better that 1,000 souls are consigned to the fire, so that one guilty man will not walk free. It is best you remember this, Father.
I cannot agree with that.
There is no disagreement. There is heresy, Father.
Well, I am sorry, but I do not believe the unjust burning of 100 innocents to find one guilty man.
They will be rewarded in heaven.
And while that might be so, it is still a horrible way to die. And it is not right that they should have to suffer.
Their sinful flesh is burned away to the purity of ashes. What more could they want, so that their bodies may no longer act as shackles to their souls? I am here to do God's work, Father. I will assume and I will forget those statements you have made in order so that you might help in God's grand plan.
I'm unsure if I will be able to help in the murdering of those who do not deserve it.
All who stand in the path of righteousness are themselves unrighteous, Father. I will allow you your misbegotten transgressional beliefs, because in time you will come to see the truth. You will come to see Gloriana Divinitus, Noxianus Espiritus Sanct, the glory of God, the exaltation of his highest.
And I will not stand in the way, the burning of those who deserve it, not for those who do not.
We shall see when the time comes, Father Belmont. Now I bless you, in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And with that, we shall end the scene.